Webmistress.
Oh.
What day is it?
Wednesday.
August the 26th, right? Cooper, what day is it? Well, first of all, National Doggy Day.
It's National Doggy Day. What do you think about that, Cooper?
He looks like he's trying to fall asleep
I
even
don't
right
know.
there, isn't he?
He's a little stage fright, I think.
I think so too. All the bright lights. He's just not used to that. Honestly, the day is a little bit more. It's not just about dog appreciation. The day aims to find loving homes for dogs and expand consideration looking beyond the breed. You know, a lot of times people are looking for that certain teacup poodle or whatever, or the Kleekai.
I want a Kleekai.
So
Not that I don't want him. I love him. I'll keep him.
So the purpose of National Dog Day Foundation is to rescue 10,000 dogs each year. So when you're considering adoption, adopt, don't shop. Ain't that right, Cooper? Right? National Dog Day, post a photo of your dog on social media or in your video for a few minutes because he's a chunk there. I asked to take your neighbor's dog for a stroll.
Our neighbor's dog?
If you don't have your own dog.
Well, I have my own.
So did you know this about dogs? They have 3 eyelids. Dogs
3
have
eyelids?
3
Really?
eyelids. Yeah, it's something that, most people don't realize about our little furry friends. The third eyelid is a nictitating membrane. It's known as a haw, and it's important for ensuring the eye is lubricated and protected. So I had no idea they had 3 eyelids. And then there are also some very distinct features with certain breeds, which we kind of know that. But for example, a Shar Pei and a Chow Chow, you know what's unique about them? They have black tongues. Okay. And 30% of Dalmatians are deaf in one ear.
Oh.
I had no idea. 30% of Dalmatians.
They're the fire dogs.
Deaf in one ear. Interesting facts about dogs. So enjoy National Dog Day. All right, next we have National Women's Equality Day. So the United States Congress passed the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, granting women full and equal voting rights on this day, August 26th, in 1920. Okay. It's sad to think about. Just a little over 100 years ago, women weren't allowed to vote. We've come a long way in women's equality, right? So at the beginning, I asked a question. I said, if I was to call you a web mistress, would that be a compliment or an insult? So guess it depends on the tone or what I'm accusing you of, right? Well, actually, Webmistress in itself is a compliment. So August 26 recognizes women in web development. The Webmistress is a term that is used for a woman who designs, develops, markets, and maintains websites.
Never heard of it before.
Yeah. So Kat Valentine founded National Webmistress Day in June of 2016 to promote women in web design. Additionally, the day celebrates the legitimacy of the job title. Okay. So, rolling with the women's equality and the National Webmistress is the accomplishments there, and of course the technology that that men and women all contribute to, but women contribute heavily to. And kind of a theme, National Get Checked Day or Got Checked Day is August 26th. As I was reading about it, obviously we think, okay, breast cancer screenings and checking yourself and, staying on top of that. Of course, early detection is the best, right? But it's also more about educating younger and younger women. So it starts with a gradual routine in youth. Anyone can continue the routine then through adulthood. So again, I do see that. And I didn't experience it, but I knew kind of how you were probably going to answer. Of course, we've been together since you were 18 too, or we were 18 as well, right? But definitely, again, great reminders. Very serious thing that we want to stay on top of. Early, anything that's caught early is best, right? All right, we move from those kind of serious topics into this one. Cherry Popsicle Day. Man, I love these ice cream days, man. I mean, this is right up my alley.
I don't think we have any cherry popsicles, do we?
We do not. And I'm not...
That's not your go-to.
No. I mean, I'm,
You're more of an
grape,
orangey kind of
orange, strawberry. I just never really, I don't know. So each summer on the 26th of August, popsicle lovers across the United States enjoy celebrating National Cherry Popsicle Day. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we did have, or a week ago, or whatever, sometime, we had creamsicle, which is my all-time favorite. And we mentioned that popsicles, which is where creamsicles and these things kind of come from, was an accident by an 11-year-old named Frank Epperson. But what we didn't talk about that day was in 1905 when he was 11. He mixed up some powdered soda, left the beverage overnight with the stirring stick in it outside. Temperatures dropped and it froze. So he had that frozen liquid on the stick that he had been stirring. So he, kind of played around with it, called it the Epsicle. And so they say cherry is one of the top flavors for a popsicle.
I believe it.
Not one of my top flavors,
Red.
but it is a top favorite. Now, here's a top favorite for a lot of people, all right? National TP Day. Toilet paper.
Why?
Well, you want to imagine life without it? You did for a second, didn't you? Yeah. So
No,
national...
I just don't know why it's a thing. But
I mean, it's one of those things that we take for granted, but we need to celebrate it. It's important, right? So all throughout human history, people have made use of all sorts of different creative ways to take care of their personal toilet hygiene. During the 18th century, newspapers and magazines arrived on the scene in the West. These were often read and then repurposed for the use of the outhouse or the water closet, the loo, or the, what was that? What's the Spanish word?
Baño.
Baños. In fact, the Sears catalog, now this is interesting, look at this. The Sears catalog and the Farmer's Almanac were two legendary forms of paper that eventually ended up in the toilet. The story goes that the Farmer's Almanac began pre-drilling holes in the tops of the books in 1919 so people could hang them on the walls of their outhouses to use. So
Wow.
they just, made it a prepackaged. Yes. So modern commercially available toilet paper came into common use in the mid-1800s in the United States. And that's when Joseph Gaiety of New York began the production of what he called medicated paper for the water closet. Now there's a product, right? So by the end of the 19th century, toilet paper began appearing in perforated rolls that made it more convenient for people to use. Companies began advertising their toilet paper as being splinter-free.
Well, I sure hope so.
Yeah, I'm thinking, what?
Wow.
Maybe because they're made from trees, people were hearing, but they advertised. So in the 19th century,
that's a problem.
yeah,
That was a problem.
Splinter-free. I hope so,
Woo.
right? Jeez. The Scott brothers founded the Scott Paper Company in 1879 and started selling toilet paper in rolls in 1890. I still got a lot here. We got a lot more to talk about here on toilet paper. Yes. So how many trees worth of toilet paper does a person use in a lifetime?
Oh my goodness. It depends on how much you go.
But how many trees? Think about that. How many trees?
Women probably use more than men.
I don't know. That could be debatable.
Women use more than men.
It could be debatable. I don't know. Okay. And I guess it depends too, is how much do you roll up together? How much do you take as a single use, right? So it was learned, though, that the dyes in the toilet paper to make the color were not so hygienic and possibly having a negative impact also on the environment. The last company to discontinue the practice was Scott in 2004. So up until 2004,
up until then.
you could still get some colored toilet paper.
Wow.
How about this one? Toilet paper has been made from all kinds of things, right? Including gold. One manufacturer makes toilet paper out of 22 karat gold. One roll costs more than $1.3 million. This is definitely flushing money down the toilet,
Sure
right?
is.
That's somebody with an excessive amount of money, right? If anybody wants to donate a roll of gold toilet paper to us, we will gladly take it, right? So anyone wants to ship that to us, let me know and I'll get you our address, okay? Or we'll come pick it up. We'll come pick it up, right? One company, now this is interesting. There is a company doing recycling of the toilet papers and making sure to help conserve called Who Gives a Crap? That's the company name. I looked it up. They make their recycled toilet paper completely from recycled office paper. They offer subscription service, so families never have to worry about buying toilet paper at the store again. Who gives a crap? So look it up. If you want to subscribe to a service where you can get your recycled office paper toilet paper rolls. But it cuts down on the 384 trees that you will need in your lifetime, right? So it does, listen, trees are not unending. I mean, there's no, we have a limited supply of things, right? Again, we go back biblical. There's a reason why we have a limited supply. Our earth is winding down. It is under judgment, and coming to an end. Well, here's my question. Does it unroll from the top or from the bottom when you put it on the roll?
Well, I put it.
Should it come over the top?
Over the top.
Or should it come under the bottom?
I do it over the top.
Okay. So the preferred method for hanging toilet paper is to have it unroll over the top. This orientation is, I didn't realize this, so why? Why should it come off the top instead of unrolling from the bottom? Any thoughts? I mean, why do you prefer that?
I mean, I don't know. That's how I always known it to be.
Well,
growing up.
One of the interesting things was it prevents you from touching the wall. And if you do that repeatedly, then that becomes germs and harbors germs on the wall. Because if you're having to reach to the back of the roll, you're touching the wall. And so think about that in a public bathroom or even your own. Mm-hmm. So by having it roll on the outside, the roll is between your hand and the wall. So you're not contaminating the surface and then touching it over and over. Also, the original patent dating back to 1891 supports that method as the intended design. So it was created, designed, and intended to unroll from the top. And it's easier. It's just easier to pull. It's easier to use, in my opinion. So some people prefer the under method for personal habits, upbringing, whatever it might be. Just like you said, it's just the way it always was, right? But I didn't notice you hang it up the wrong way sometimes.
I do.
So yeah, you don't always stick with the over, so I have to switch it around. So, but the over method is widely recommended for hygiene and convenience. So, all right, everybody. Well, we had a fun night. All right. So National Dog Day. Again, if you don't have a dog, offer to walk your neighbor's dogs. All right. Get involved and adopt. Don't shop. National Women's Equality Day, Webmistress Day, Got Checked Day. Good education there to pass along. Cherry Popsicle Day. Enjoy a cherry popsicle. Don't forget then to appreciate toilet paper. And think about how you have it hanging on the roll. Top over, right? All right.